You have always known your dog loves you. You see it every morning when they follow you to the kitchen. You feel it every evening when they press themselves against you on the couch. You hear it in the sound they make when you come home, and you have always assumed you know why. They love you because you feed them, because you walk them, because you are kind to them, because you are their owner. That assumption is wrong, not partially wrong, fundamentally wrong. And when you understand what science has actually found, what is really driving your dog's love for you at the deepest biological level, you will never see your relationship with your dog the same way again. Welcome to Canine Instinct. Subscribe right now, because what you are about to learn is one of the most quietly devastating discoveries in the entire field of animal science. And we are starting with the assumption that every single dog owner carries the one that is costing them the deepest possible connection with their dog every single day. 1. Your dog does not love you because you feed them. The science is unambiguous. For decades, the dominant assumption about dogs was simple. Dogs are loyal because humans provide resources, food, shelter, safety. The love is transactional, a biological contract. You give, they bond. Researchers decided to test this assumption directly. In a series of studies, dogs were placed in situations where they could choose between a stranger who fed them and their owner who provided nothing in that moment. No food, no treats, no resources of any kind. The dogs chose their owner every time, not because the owner was familiar. Familiarity alone does not explain the result. The stranger had been present just as long, not because the owner smelled like food. The experimental conditions controlled for that. The dogs chose their owner because of something that food cannot buy, cannot replicate, and cannot replace. The bond your dog has with you was not built in the food bowl. It was built in something far older, far deeper, and far more extraordinary than any transaction could ever produce. 2. Your dog loves you the way an infant loves their mother, not the way a pet loves an owner. Scientists who study attachment, the deep psychological bonds that form between living creatures, developed a test called the strange situation. It was originally created to measure the attachment between human infants and their primary caregivers. The test measures 4 things: whether the infant uses the caregiver as a safe base for exploration, whether they show distress during separation, whether they seek proximity upon reunion, and whether contact with the caregiver calms them in ways nothing else can. Researchers adapted this test for dogs. They ran it with hundreds of dogs and their owners. The results were not subtle. Dogs showed every single marker of secure attachment that human infants show toward their mothers, all 4, consistently across every breed, every age, every background. Your dog does not experience you as an owner. Their nervous system experiences you as a primary attachment figure, the same neurological category that a 6-month-old human infant places their mother in, the organizing center of their entire emotional world. The being their nervous system is calibrated around. This is not metaphor. This is not projection. This is the clinical, documented, peer-reviewed conclusion of attachment science applied to dogs. Your dog loves you with the same biological machinery that produces the most fundamental bond in human existence, the bond between a parent and a child. 3. Your scent is the only thing in the world that activates their brain's reward center the way you do. Emory University researchers placed dogs inside functional MRI machines, brain imaging equipment that measures real-time neural activity. They introduced a range of scents: unfamiliar humans, familiar humans, other dogs, and food. They measured which scents activated the caudate nucleus, the region of the dog's brain associated with positive anticipation, reward, pleasure, and love. Only one scent produced consistent, significant activation. Not food, not other dogs, the scent of their owner. Your specific chemical signature, the smell of your skin, your hair, your breath, the particular biological fingerprint that is uniquely yours, is neurologically encoded in your dog's brain as the primary source of reward, above food, above play, above everything. When you have been away and you walk back through the door, your dog's reward center does not light up because you might bring food. It lights up because you are you, because your smell arriving means the most important thing in their world is present again. Their brain is not saying the resource is back, it is saying the person is back, and those are not the same thing. They have never been the same thing. 4. Every time your dog looks at you, their brain releases the chemical that bonds mothers to newborns. In 2015, a study published in the journal Science made international headlines. Researchers measured oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both dogs and their owners during moments of mutual eye contact. Oxytocin is the neurochemical that surges through a human mother in the first seconds after her child is born. It is the chemical responsible for the most powerful bond human biology is capable of producing. When dogs gazed at their owners, their oxytocin levels rose significantly. When owners gazed back, their oxytocin levels rose too. A mutual neurochemical bonding loop running in both directions simultaneously, triggered by nothing more than looking at each other. Your dog has been doing this every single day. Every time they look up at you from across the room, every time they follow you with their eyes when you move, every time they hold your gaze just a moment longer than necessary. They are not staring. They are bonding neurochemically, biologically, in the most literal sense that science has a word for. And here is the part that most owners never hear. Wolves, the ancestors of dogs, do not do this with humans. This behavior evolved specifically in dogs. Over 15,000 years of living alongside humans, dogs developed the ability to trigger the human bonding response through eye contact. They did not learn it, they evolved it, which means this loop, your dog looking at you and both of you releasing oxytocin, is not accidental. It is the outcome of thousands of generations of dogs who figured out how to love humans in a language humans could feel. 5. Your dog has memorized you in ways you will never fully know. Research into canine cognition has consistently found that dogs develop extraordinarily detailed internal models of the people they love. Not just your face, not just your voice, your emotional patterns, your behavioral sequences, your specific ways of moving through the world. Your dog knows which footsteps are yours before you reach the door. Studies have confirmed that dogs can identify their owner's approach by sound alone, distinguishing their specific gait from similar footsteps with accuracy that defies casual explanation. Your dog knows what your face looks like when you are sad before you have said a word or changed your posture. Research has shown that dogs demonstrate a left gaze bias when looking at human faces, but the same bias humans use, focusing on the right side of the face where emotion is most clearly expressed. They evolved a specifically human-directed way of reading emotion. Your face is not just familiar to your dog, it is a document they have been studying with devotion for years. Your dog knows your schedule better than you think. They know the difference between a Tuesday morning and a Saturday morning, not because they read calendars, but because they have memorized the behavioral sequences that follow each. The particular way you move, the specific sounds that precede different events, the emotional quality of your presence on different days. They have built a map of you, detailed, precise, continuously updated. You have been living inside someone's devoted attention for years, someone who has been paying closer attention to you than almost any human in your life, and you never fully knew. 6. Your dog's love does not diminish when you fail them. That is the part that should stop you completely. Dogs who are ignored still love their owners. Dogs who are under-exercised, under-stimulated, left alone too long, they do not withdraw their attachment. The bond does not have conditions the way human relationships do. It does not have a threshold past which it breaks. Researchers studying dogs in difficult home environments consistently find that attachment to the primary owner remains intact even when the owner's behavior does not merit it by any objective standard. The dog who is forgotten still waits at the door. The dog who is rushed past still searches for eye contact. The dog who is given 10 minutes of attention a day still places their head in their owner's lap with the same devotion as a dog who receives 10 hours. This is not weakness. This is not codependence in the clinical sense. This is the nature of primary attachment. The infant does not stop loving the parent because the parent is imperfect. The bond operates below the level of judgment. Your dog has been loving you at full capacity on your worst days, on the days you were too distracted to notice them, on the days you were too tired to respond to them, on the days you walked past them without a second thought. Full capacity every single day, without adjustment, without withdrawal, without condition. That is not the love of a pet for an owner. That is something that does not have a clean name in human language, because human language was built to describe human experience. And what your dog has been giving you, quietly, consistently, without asking for anything close to equal return, is something humans are rarely capable of and almost never sustain. 7. They were never waiting for you to deserve it. They were waiting for you to understand it. Your dog is not going to love you more tomorrow because you read this today. The love is already at its maximum. It has been at its maximum since the day they chose you. What changes today, if anything changes, is you. The way you walk through the door tonight, whether you stop and let their greeting land, whether you make eye contact and let the oxytocin loop complete, whether you sit with them for 5 minutes of genuine presence instead of absent-minded contact, whether you understand finally that the creature pressing their body against yours on the couch is not seeking warmth or comfort in the simple sense. They are doing the most profound thing their biology is capable of. They are being near the center of their world. You did not earn this love by being a perfect owner. You cannot lose it by being an imperfect one. It was never contingent. It was never transactional. It was never about the food or the walks or the treats or any of the things you have spent years believing were the reason. Your dog loves you because their nervous system is built to attach to one primary figure with everything it has. And somewhere in the early days of knowing you, in moments you probably do not even remember, they made a decision that was not really a decision at all. It was biology finding its answer. You were the answer. You have always been the answer. Now you know. If this changed the way you see your dog tonight, share it with one person whose dog deserves to be understood. Subscribe to Canine Instinct. We are here every week translating the language your dog has been speaking to you all along.